Hello, I'm Felicia Vereen, always known as Fee. Hey, Fee, and I'm your girl, Shabrita 3, better known as Fred. And we are Inspire Her, the Total Woman Podcast, a new podcast all about uplifting you. Yes. Because, friends, face it, you are awesome. We'll be chatting up about topics we love to talk about. All the things we as women must juggle every day and the ish we complain about. But who's listening? Girl, we'll chat about the struggle, the job, and about him. You know who we talking about. Girl. That boo, husband, boyfriend, ex, whatever you calling them today. Our lovely hellions, kids. Our angels. But seriously, friends, life happens, and we don't always get a chance to talk about it. We take it on the chin and we keep it moving. Because that's what we were told to do. Yep. But here on Inspire Her, the Total Woman Podcast with Red and Fee, we are the friends you love to hang out with. We are here to inspire her, the Total Woman. Yay. Hey, Red.
Hey, Fee.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you, girl?
I am wonderful.
We got a juicy topic to talk about tonight.
Girl, for real. I think we do. You want to go ahead and introduce it?
Yes. Are you in a relationship, friends, or a situationship?
Ooh. Okay, Red, listen. Can a woman be in a situationship and not know it? Hmm. Well, I was reading in this article on the Women's Health website 11 signs you're in a situationship and how to handle it like a dating pro by Anna Medeiros Miller and Perry O. Bloomberg. And it talked about knowing whether you are in a situationship. So I figured, why not talk about it here?
Yeah. You know, thinking about it, Fee, it's not new. It's just a different name. Back in the day, hey, it was a booty call. Then we got a little classy with it. Girl, we just friends with benefits. And now it's a situationship. Okay, first, what is a situationship? So a situationship is a romantic arrangement that exists before or without DTR, defining the relationship conversation. You know,
DTR.
DTR, defining the relationship. You know, a lot of times we just be dating and we don't know what the situation is and we just chilling, we dating, we having a good time, we hanging out. But then guess what happens next? Somebody catching feelings.
Mhm. But
Somebody.
I always tell people, look, I know how I am. So I try not to, you know, it, I try to make sure I check my feelings if if I think I'm entering into a situationship.
Mm-hmm.
Try not to try to check my feelings at the door because women, we naturally have the cuddle effect. You know what the
Right.
cuddle effect is?
No, explain it to our
When
friends.
when we we go into a situation maybe thinking, oh, I can handle this, and then when you cuddle up, you have some Netflix and chill time, and it's just you and that person, and y'all just having me time, even though it's a situationship, or you might think, hey, we just chilling right now. You start to feel all warm and cozy and
Mm-hmm.
soft.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And everything be good until you call him or he calls you and hey, what you doing? Oh, I'm on a date. Skirt. You what?
You what?
Oh,
Lord,
okay. It's like
please
that.
let
It's
go.
like that. Okay, it's like that. Be like, what you talking about? We just friends. We when we with each other, we have a good time. We enjoy each other. But I always used to get hit with this line. You know what the situation is.
That's where the situationship comes
You know
from.
what exactly. You know what the situation is. A situationship.
So, all right. So there's some pros and cons to it all,
Alright, let
right?
me hit him with the pros. Let me hit him with the pros.
I know
Alright.
what the pros, right?
The pros, there's no real commitment. So when you want to close, when you're with someone and you're close to someone and you talk to them, you fine, and it's fine to do that too. So when you hanging out with them, you hanging out with them, but it's no commitment. So I don't have to worry
Right.
about if I meet somebody else that I want to talk to or hang out with, I can do that because this is not a committed relationship.
Right.
It can be convenient for certain chapters in people's lives. He or she may not be capable of a committed relationship at the time. And this could be because you already know you're moving soon or are on the mend after a difficult breakup or countless other reasons why it's just convenient. It's what I need at this time in my life. I'm not ready to fully jump in and commit because I don't know where I'm going to be at some other point. So I enjoy hanging out with him or her, and right now it works.
Right. Sometimes after you come out of a relationship and maybe it wasn't it wasn't your doing. You didn't want to end the relationship
Mhm.
and you've been alone for a little while. Maybe you just need that person to kind of fill that space. You're
Mhm.
not really trying to create a relationship with them. You just want a little situationship.
Right. Right. And you can do what you want to do. So I don't have to check in. Hey, I'm going out of town or I'm doing this. You can do what you want to do. You don't have to run nothing by nobody. If I want to do this, if I want to pick up and leave, this is what I'm going to do. So those are some of the pros. Hit them with the cons, Fee. What are some of the cons of this situationship?
You know where you got some pros, you always got to have some cons. It's always a reason why you might not want to get into that situationship. So listen,
Mm,
individuals in a situationship, you don't get consistent and stable support. Now that's if you want that type of thing. Sometimes, like I said, we go in and we thinking, "Oh, I'm good with this," but then after a while, that cuddle effect comes in, and then you're like, I call him, he ain't answering the phone, or I'm doing this and I want him to attend,
mhm,
or something happened and I'm really upset and hurt and he's not there for me.
mm,
Well, hey, that's a con of the situationship. You're
mm,
making yourself emotionally vulnerable. You always available. He call you, answer on the second ring, first ring.
mm, mm,
Like I was waiting for you to call. I don't know if
mhm,
people still do that or not, but you're making yourself emotionally vulnerable. Your feelings are there. You're there for him no matter what. You might even be cooking dinner, saying, "Baby, I got some dinner over here. You want to eat?" Ain't a man gonna say no to the food.
no.
He gonna say no
None
to
I
food.
know.
Relationships that are not committed may create a great deal of anxiety and uncertainty for those in them. You
Mm,
don't really know how that person feels about you. You know what I'm saying? Like I said,
mhm,
if you and that person are at the same level of commitment, let me back up, of non-commitment, and y'all okay with it, then you probably won't have a problem. But if you feeling a little something, or if he's feeling a little something, that uncertainty is going to cause you some anxiety because you already know you're in a situationship, I hope,
Might not
but
know.
you're not going to want to talk to him about, "Oh, I'm feeling some kind of way," because you already know what it is. You know how they say, "You know what it is."
Mm.
More often than not, there also are inconsistent views between the individuals in the situationship, both in terms of relationship and the other person.
So, Fee, I
So,
want to back it back up to this DTR defining the relationship. Where do we start? How do we? What questions do we ask? Like, are you seeing anybody else? You interested in seeing anybody else, or so what are we doing? You know, you got to be vibing off of him to or her to even go that route. Or in initial conversations, they may tell you, I'm just out here, I'm just dating, I'm just having a good time. I'm not ready to get into anything serious yet. But yet and still, you always at my house. We're always going out. We're always talking on the phone. Where are we going with this? Define a relationship. When do we start trying to define a relationship?
Well, I feel like one or two ways. The relationship is defining itself, and
Mm.
y'all just falling into the mold of it, or you sit down and you have a conversation. Because, friend, listen, what if he out here with other people and there's a third or a fourth person that is in this situationship with you that you don't know about? You dating him and he dating her and her and her
Oh,
and her and
that poly
her.
life. That
That's
poly life going
a
on.
whole other conversation,
That's a
Red.
whole nother conversation.
That's a whole
But
other
yeah.
conversation. But I mean, are you in a relationship or is it a situationship?
Mm.
You gotta be able to figure that out. You know, like
Mm.
we read the pros and the cons for a situationship. When you meet a guy that where you gonna put him. When you meet him if you're like, that's a future right there. We might have
Mm.
something going on. Or when you meet him, you're like,
That's a
I
booty call.
I I don't know. He's a good time, that kind of thing. So we just don't want people to be stuck in situationships and not realize it. We want you to know, you know, this podcast right here, friends, for those who are listening to this, it's to help you understand when you are in a relationship or a situationship. Here at Inspire Her, we want y'all to understand that. We want to inspire you to look at your relationships because, sometimes it weighs on our emotional state.
Absolutely. I just don't do well
It,
for not knowing what's going on. I need to know.
right.
And so many of us are afraid to ask that question, what are we doing? Because we don't want to lose them. And then we end up 2 and 3 years later in the same situation. And, we just talking, we just chilling, we just enjoying each other, but it's nothing defined.
Right.
Well, two or
You,
three years is a long time, but I'm just saying.
some people in
Mm,
situationships for a long time, and
yeah.
some people don't know, Sharita. Some people don't
Mm,
know that they are in a situationship, friend.
that's
Sometimes
true.
your girlfriend got to tell you you're in a situationship. Sometimes the situationship tells you itself by a chick showing up or somebody calling you or leaving you a message. All that dramatic stuff that I've done it. I have not left anyone a message. I have not
Oh,
requested
spill
it,
it.
but it has come to me. Somebody
Mhm.
actually put a message in a letter in my mailbox telling me that I was in a situationship, and I thought I was in a relationship.
Mm, and you're right, you don't see it until pop up on him with somebody else. You see them you out and you see them with somebody else. I'm like, "Okay, but I thought we were working on something. We were in this situation or we were working on a relationship." And then you get hit with, "Well, you know what the situation was." Okay. I'm
that
saying that because I've been told that a couple of times back in the
that part.
day.
I've only had it really happen to me once because I try to make sure that I understand going in. What are we doing?
Mhm.
Either
Mhm.
either I'm saying that, or I'm the one who's like, yeah, this ain't going no further than what it's going.
Right,
It's
right. We get
and
comfortable because
we
that
do.
might work for us at that moment, and then we get comfortable in
We
those
do.
situations.
We do. Friends, we're gonna once again, our normal. We are going to put a post in our group, Inspire Her, the Total Woman We're gonna put a post in our group, and we want you to talk about it. We want to hear what you got to say. Once again, you don't have to tell us about all the details and give us names and stuff. We might spark a past memory. We don't want you to give all the business, but we just want to have a general conversation about it and see how you feel. On our next podcast, we may come back to this subject and read some of your comments and go through them before we start our next topic. But now, like I said, we're talking about, are you in a relationship or a situationship? In the article that I was reading, there were signs you're in a situationship. So if you don't realize it, we're gonna give you some signs that help you understand. So sit back and listen and look at your relationship that you're in now and think about it. If you're not married, or even if you are married, sometimes that could be a situationship too. I
All
don't want
right.
it to be friends, but sometimes it can be.
Okay. So the first sign is there's no natural evolution or growth in the relationship. We just still doing the same thing. Every Friday he comes over. We may go to the movies. We may go out to eat. We just chilling. We're not talking about the future. We're not talking about what we're gonna do. It ain't no we conversations. It's always I, those kind of things. So there's just no growth. There's no talk about the future. The second thing is there's someone else or multiple other people involved. Polyamorous, that poly
And you
life.
go again.
There's other people involved, whether he tells you about them or they sometimes those other people end up reaching out to you or you out on the street and bump up into him or some or you looking at Facebook posts and he's tagged in something with some other chick. However you get it. The third thing is you only make short term or last minute plans. So it's no planning. Well, next Friday we're gonna do this or we're gonna do that. Is hey girl, what you doing tonight? Oh, I ain't doing nothing. Can I slide through? All right, come on. That kind of thing.
Mhm.
There's no
No plans. You
consistency.
don't ever take
No
me out
plans.
anyway.
No plans.
I ain't met your
No.
mama. I ain't met your
Definitely.
family.
Yes. Yes. Or none of your friends.
Mm-mm, not one friend.
Right. It's no consistency. It's no consistency in a relationship. You may hear from him one day, 3 days go by or her, and then next thing you know, he's popping up on the 4th or 5th day, "What you doing? I'm ready to come by," kind of thing, and because, that's just how you flow, you don't address it or you don't say anything, even though you may be feeling, "I know he ain't just called me after I haven't heard from him for 3 days." You "Okay, I'm okay." They
Mhm.
always had the same vague excuse. "I was
Mhm.
working late." "Oh, I
Girl.
had to go help my mom do something." Or the
Mhm.
kids, "I was with the kids." Or "I'm going to play ball at the Y with my friends." Some old vague excuse when you're questioning him or asking him about what's going on. He have small talk or dirty talk for you. Hey, nothing depth. He probably don't even know your middle name.
He don't call you to say, "Hey, how was your day?" He called you say, "What you got on?"
Yes, yes. "What you doing? Look, send me a pic."
Girl, yeah. No. No, no, no. Not sending you
Mm-mm.
out there.
None of that stuff going on. What you
Mm-mm.
got for him, Fee? What's some of the other signs that you're in a situationship?
I mean, I want some of our friends right now. I want to know. Listen, I wish I could. I wish I could read their minds while they listen to this and see if they saying, "Hmm,
Mm.
I think I'm in a situation."
Girl, let me
Well,
call
listen,
this fool.
listen. If you don't talk about the future, when you meet somebody, a lot of times they ask you, "Well, what do you think about the future? What do you think you want to do in the future? How will you how do you see yourself in the future? You gonna be in this city, or you want to have any more kids? If you don't hear talk about the future ever, hmm, you might be in a situationship. I'm not
Mm.
saying that you are, but you might. They tell you that they don't want to get serious. That's a situationship, sis. That
Mhm.
right there is just right out there and in front. They don't want to be serious. Or they show you they don't want to get serious. You call, it goes straight to voicemail.
Mm.
Call again, it goes straight to voicemail. They don't want you to be their friend on social media. Or they, like you said, you hear from them one day, you don't hear from them next week, next 2 weeks. Then they call you out the blue. They don't have any short talk. I mean, they have short talk for you. Nothing interesting. Just, hey, what you doing? What you got on? Can I come over? Something like that. You're anxious all the time. You meaning you're just not comfortable in a relationship because you want something else. And they're giving you what they're giving you and you're accepting it.
Mm.
You get bored. You're getting tired of them coming over your house all the time, wanting to just do what they do and then they leave. They don't need, you know, if they ain't even spending the night, they're
Mm.
like, all right, well, I see you. You know, come
Mhm.
on now. You get tired, you get bored. If you are bored of whatever is going on, then sis, you might be in a situationship. And we done gave you 11 signs. If you sit back, you listen to this, and you seriously think about it, if you're okay with it, then hey, we're not talking to you. But if you
Mhm.
thinking, trying to understand what's going on, and you hear these 11 signs and you can connect with a couple of them, you might be in a situationship and versus a relationship and might need to have that conversation.
So going back to the other thing, Fee, they tell you they don't want to get serious. They may tell you this in the beginning of the relationship. And you still thinking, well, I'm this bad chick and I'm gonna make him change his mind and oh he just ain't met me yet. He ain't dealt
Skirt.
with me yet. I got what it
Mm-mm.
takes to keep this man. No, if
Mm-mm.
he tells you that, that means he's being upfront, he's being honest, he's not trying to string you along. So when 3 or 4 months or 6 months down the road and it's still not changed, and you thinking, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm this, I'm that, I'm all of this in a bag of chips, whatever you want to call it, and he still don't want to commit. He already told you back in the beginning of the conversation that he's not wanting to get into anything serious. So why do we feel like we can change their minds? Why do we feel
because
like we can change their minds?
because we think they haven't met us yet. You
Mm,
ain't never met nobody like me. I can change you.
mm,
I can change your mind, but what we don't understand is that they're changing us.
correct.
They're changing us. We're starting to accept what they give.
And
And then at
adapting.
the end of the
Yeah.
day, we look at it and we're like, this isn't what I want. This is what
Mm,
he wanted.
mm-hmm,
When they already
mm-hmm.
told you at the beginning, I don't want nothing serious. And they can always come back and say, I told you I ain't want nothing serious.
Exactly. So
And you
you can go
looking at
ahead and go. We can still chill and do what we doing, or go ahead and see who you want to see. Go find you somebody that wants the same thing that you want. But no, by that time we probably in love, and we gonna just stay in this situationship because of who that person is, and cheat and rob ourselves of what we could truly get, what we want from someone else.
right. Cause sis, listen, I'm coming close to the mic now. Friends, sisters, listen, you are awesome. You may be a mother, you may be a young girl, you may not have gotten to that point yet, but you may be a sister, you may be a daughter, you may be a scholar in college, you may be a top of the line hairdresser, you may be in corporate America, you may be a licensed practice counselor, you may be like me, an accountant working for wherever you are, whatever walk in your life you are awesome. You are a woman that is great.
Say it louder
Who
for the people in the
who
back.
you are right now, whoever you are, wherever you are an awesome woman. And guess what? You deserve an awesomely great man. someone that wants to be with you, not someone that wants to put you in a situationship. Once again, the sisters that are out here that know what you want and you're okay with a situationship because you don't want nothing serious, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the ones that don't quite know whether they're in a relationship or a situationship. But when you get to that point and you understand it, if you stick around, that's a decision that you made. But if you decide, listen, I'm worth more than that, guess what?
Mhm.
We are behind you and we know you're worth more than that. And there's somebody out there that knows it too. So
Mhm.
understand that you, you, and I'm going to say this several more times, you control what you accept. And that's just that.
Yes, amen to that. And again, if you're okay with it and being in the situationship, then do nothing. Enjoy your freedom. Enjoy the freedom of a non-committal relationship until you're ready to settle down. Take this time to figure out what you want in a man. You know, if you want a Sierra's prayer, you do what you need to do. Be specific in what you want in a man. But in the meantime, just enjoy your life. And you may just have to come out you may be coming out of a bad relationship or a marriage and you just want that companionship, but you're still working on yourself and you're healing. But we human, we all have that need to have some affection, to have some time, to have some companionship. That's okay. But date multiple people so you're not putting someone else in a situationship and you're doing what you need to do for yourself. But be
Right,
clear about what you're doing and be
right.
intentional about what you're doing.
That's what I was going to say. You want the man to be clear with you. You also need to be clear when you're going into a situationship to say, this is what it is. I don't want no commitment. We see each
Mm-mm.
other when we see each other, and that's just it.
Don't be blowing up my phone. Don't be coming over here unannounced. Don't be riding past my house. Just trying to see what's going on.
Riding past your house. Not
Oh.
a stalker.
See if it's any cars out there that shouldn't be out there.
That's a stalker. That's a whole
Yeah,
another conversation.
that is, but folks do
Rita,
it.
you that?
Well, you know what? I don't roll
That's
past
a
somebody's
stalker.
house to see what was going on.
Oh, no, you've been a stalker.
I won't call myself a stalker. I'm just thinking maybe being a little nosy, but that was back in my earlier days, my early mid-20s, before I found my worth, before
Right,
I knew who I really was and what I deserved.
right,
Yes, I
right.
have everybody plays a fool sometimes. There's no
Sing
exception to the rule.
it. Sing it.
I got a song lyric for everything.
Everything. You come out singing everything.
Everybody plays a fool
Go ahead, girl.
sometimes. There's
Go
no
ahead.
exceptions to the rule.
Yes.
Yeah, we've all played a fool for a man.
I know. I know. I know. And I am not an exception to that rule at all. I have definitely but you know what? I didn't know. I didn't know I was in a situationship
Mm.
until it hit me in the face. And I don't ever
Mm.
want to be in that situation
Mhm.
ever again.
Mhm.
So
But
when I start out, I have the conversation. I'm like, look,
mhm.
I'm not here to play no games.
Mhm. And you are
I'm here.
they always thinking this is my man, and sometimes you get into this power struggle to get this man from this woman. Oh, you're not getting my man. It almost becomes like an ego thing where no, this he was with me first and we're together. You're not gonna just come up and take my man. So we start making ourselves look like even more of a fool. I should be talking too much. Let me back. Go ahead,
But
P. What you talking about?
if you doing that much, then friend,
Before I
people
knew my worth. Maybe they
people
don't
are still doing that.
Yeah, maybe they just don't know their worth yet.
Right. That's right. And that's another podcast that we're probably going to get into, knowing your worth, because since we
Mhm.
created Inspire Her, the total woman. We're going to be talking about the total woman. And knowing your worth is a part of that.
Mhm.
Knowing your worth is a part of that. Knowing that you deserve better, even if you just got to go and sit alone for a while until that right person comes along. You don't have to get mixed up in these situationships that you don't want to be a part of.
No,
Right?
no, no. Take your
Now,
time and don't bounce from relations even don't bounce from relationship to relationship and don't bounce from situationship to situationship.
yeah.
No, take some time for yourself. Figure out who you are, what you want, what you need, what's going to make you happy.
Right. And like I said, if you're not interested in the situationship, then it's time to have the conversation, you
Mm.
know? The what are we doing conversation.
Mm.
That one. That one. Say it again.
A little,
That
that's a
conversation.
tough conversation. I mean, a lot of us we're afraid to ask because we don't want to hear an answer that we don't want to hear.
That's true.
And we
But
keep holding on.
you need a clear understanding of what each of you want.
A piece
You
of
need
man is
that.
better than no man.
No. Mm-mm.
That's what some people think.
I don't
Not
want a
me,
piece. I don't
but
want
some
you to
people.
have a piece and her to have a piece and the girl down the street to have a piece. Mm-mm. I want to know that I got something special.
Mhm.
Something special to someone that cares for me. And I'm
Mhm.
going to say it again. You control what you accept. And that's it. The man
Absolutely.
can't force you. You control what you accept. If you want to be in a situationship, all right. Long as you go in knowing what you in. But if you don't, then have that conversation. And if he says, "Yeah, that's not what I want.
Mhm.
I'm good right here where I'm at," then you got to make a decision whether you want to stay in this situationship or you want to move on and find somebody else. Majority of the time, we 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 stay and we try to make it work, and we end up hurting ourselves. We end up creating a life that we're not comfortable in, nor do we want to be a part of. And I think we get to the point sometimes that we become desperate. And I hate to say that.
And
We
you
want to
say desperate, you silly, and you say desperate, but we talked about that ratio of the amount of men to women.
hey, it's there, it's real. It is real.
I ain't into the sister wives situation though.
Mm-mm. I ain't look, I ain't in the polyamory.
Look, not knowingly anyway.
No. No. And then when I find out, ooh, honey, you talking about being angry. I don't want to be caught up in nothing that I don't want to be a part of, and that's just it. I
Mhm.
control what I accept, and that's it. I'm gonna make a t-shirt that says I control what I accept, and that's
Right.
it. People gonna be
That's
like, well, what do you accept?
nothing.
Not a situationship unless I want it.
Mhm.
So anyway,
Mm.
friends, listen. Tonight we were having fun with this conversation with this topic, but after hearing all of this, if you have realized that you're in a situationship and you don't want to be in it, or you kind of already knew that you were in one and you kind of like teetering on, but I love him, or but I like him, or but eh, I don't know what to do. I don't want to be alone. Sit down, think about what you want. Think about your goals in life. Think about where you are now. Trust me, sis, it's somebody else out there for you, somebody that will cherish you, somebody that knows your worth, somebody that will love you, somebody that will not only want to be there for you, answer your calls, come see you, bring you special gifts, all that loving stuff. It's someone out there. You do not have to accept this unless you want to.
Unless you want to. Yep, unless you want to.
So, guys, Once again, I know we are at the point where we're going to give our tips, but I just wanted to say again, go back and listen to what we just said because this is serious. Go back and listen to what we just said and think about your relationships. Think about how it has affected you. Think about, when you guys talk, all of that kind of stuff. Is it short talk or is he talking about the future? Is it do you get the feel goods or are you always anxious, wondering what's going on? It's your time to go back and dissect it. And if you need to, have that DTR.
Yes.
Define that relationship. And therefore, you can go on with no anxiety and knowing what's going on or what's not going on. Maybe you need to end it.
Right. And but you got to be ready, and you got to be ready to hear how whatever happens, you have to be ready to maybe hear some things you don't want to hear, or you may be pleasantly surprised and he probably was just waiting for you to say something, or you know make him get to a point where he makes a decision. Can't make anybody do anything, but you know what I mean. Have that
Yeah.
conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that time in our podcast where we give you some tips. So, Red, what's your tip for the day?
I want to talk a little bit about depression and seasonal depression. I know this daylight savings time, it affects a lot of people. It gets dark earlier. It's cold. We tend to do more things on the inside, be in the house. Well, I'm in the house early anyway, but I digress.
Yes.
But,
We're in the bed
you,
at 6:30, y'all.
yes, I get my beauty rest. Sleep is essential. Um, just making sure that you're doing something positive or doing something uplifting, because it can be depressing. And now, I even notice myself like, woo, it's 6 o'clock and it's still light. You kind of feel good at 6 o'clock in the morning
Mhm.
when you wake up and the sun is shining.
Mhm.
You feel good. So just monitoring that. If you start to feel a little having the winter blues is what I like to call it. You know, do something about it. Be aware of it. Be more cognizant of how things are, how you're feeling when it starts to get a little dark a little early or whatever. And try to do things. Just knowing yourself, knowing your body, knowing how it responds to things like that. So time to get out. Springtime is right around the corner. Kind of make some plans for what you want to do, and things you want to accomplish, and with your mental health and getting out, where it's walking in the morning, walking in the afternoon, or going to the gym, or just doing some things to kind of get up and moving, to kind of feel good. Getting up in the morning, saying your daily affirmations. Today is going to be a good
Morning,
day.
gorgeous.
Yes, good morning, gorgeous. Thank you, MJB, for that. I mean, good morning, gorgeous. I saw something in the store I was in that said, "Good morning, beautiful." Just speak positivity into yourself. Speak life into yourself. Speak light into yourself. So that's all I have. Just a little bit more self love. I always tend to gravitate towards the self love. That's what I got. What you got, Fee?
Okay, guys. I give the financial tips because I'm all about the money.
Money, money,
All
money,
right.
money.
Look at her. Another, always got 'em. All right, so we're going to talk about budgeting. The word that people hate,
Mm,
hate the word budgeting. You gotta sit down and you gotta count those coins so that they can last, people. Sit
mhm,
down with your family if you have a family, or sit down by yourself, or if you're in college, even if you're in college, as long as if you're making an income, you still need to budget a little bit. Some people, they like to just spend, 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 and then next thing you know, a couple checks them bounced, and you wondering why the people done cut your lights off, or cut your cable off or something. You like, cause you ain't paid that bill, cause you ain't had the money in your bank account. So I just suggest that you can do it. Some people like to write it down. Some people like to do it in their computer. Some people like to use a template. It's as simple as you writing down how much money that you make in a month, or typing it up. There are some spreadsheets that are already prepared for you in Excel or some other programs that you might have. But go ahead and write down all your income, anything that comes in the month as income. And then under that, you start subtracting out all of your bills, everything that you need to pay: your water bill, your light bill, your mortgage or rent, your child care, your card note if you have one, everything that is coming out of your check. And then also, let me back up. First thing I want you to do is write down your income. Then I want you to take and subtract out how much you're going to save, because you need to save first. Save first. Send that money. If you have a credit union, let's say I bank at Truist now. We have changed over from SunTrust to Truist. So I bank at Truist, but I have a credit union. So I send my money from my regular bank account over to my credit union. Because guess what? If it's not readily accessible for you, you can't just transfer it over into your bank account. You got to go through a little bit more to get that money transferred over to your bank account. So transfer that over to another bank or credit union so that your savings can continue to grow. And if you're anything like me, I have it automatically taken out. As soon as my check hits that bank account, I have it automatically taken out and transferred. Make sure you do that off the top. Then start listing out your bills. And then at the very, very end, if you have extra, start thinking about, oh, I want to save for this vacation, or,
Mhm.
my child is in college, or, things that you have to do. That may be one of the bills that you have taken out as well. Whatever you have extra in addition to what you saved, that's money that you can do what you want to do with it. You can split it up. I have at least two different savings, and I still have a Christmas fund. Well, my grandmother started me with a Christmas fund. I save money. You can save it yourself, but I save money at the bank. And then when Christmas time comes, I have no problem with spending everything in that account, because I know I saved it, I earmarked it specifically for Christmas. So that money I'm buying Christmas presents with, and I'm spending it all because
Mm.
I know I'm good with it. My tip for today is budget, 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 because you're sending your money where it should go. You know where your money is going. And throughout the month, check it to make sure that your budget is still in alignment with what you think it should be. Because sometimes your bill goes up, my Verizon bill goes up or down, or depending on if I add something to it or take something away, or my water bill or light bill could be more than what I expected it to be. If you're not on a budget plan, you can get on a budget plan with your electricity, and it'll be the same amount every month. So think about those things. Budget, 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 so that you won't be anxious when it comes into the month and you have to pay your bills and you don't have enough. And sometimes when you look at your budget and you get to the end and you see that you don't have enough, then you go back and look at things that you can cut out that you don't need. Like, you
Mm.
probably spending a little bit too much time at the mall or the outlet or the Louis Vuitton store or some of those other places that we like to go, ladies. Or you're looking at buying a car. You can actually see how much money that you can afford to buy your car with. Maybe you can't afford that new Lexus. Maybe you just need to go on and get a Toyota. You know, that's what a budget does for you. So, ladies, that is Fee's tip. We hope you enjoyed talking about, are you in a relationship or are you in a situationship? We really hope we help somebody, right, Red?
Yes, we hope so.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
We are here to inspire her, the total woman.
Yay!